Coming up on the Delaware Way, our interview with a controversial candidate for Congress, Republican Scott Walker, is here. This is the Delaware Way. Welcome to the Delaware Way. I'm Larry Menti. We have an important midterm election coming up, and as part of our mission to introduce you to all of the candidates that are running, I'd like to introduce you to Republican Scott Walker, who is a candidate for Congress in Delaware and running against incumbent Lisa Blunt Rochester. Thank you, sir, for coming in. Really appreciate it. As we do with all of the candidates that we meet for the first time, would love you to just tell the viewers and the voters about yourself.
Well, I'm a native Delawarean. I was born in Sussex County. I graduated from Brandywine High School, 1969, graduated from University of Delaware, and I attended grad school at the University of Delaware and raised 4 kids here in Delaware and in Cecil County. I moved there for about 16 years and then moved back to Delaware on Naaman's Road, and here I am.
What have you done for a living?
Well, I've been in the garden and flower business since I was 24. Attending grad school at Delaware, and what that consists of is going around to shopping malls, hotels, office buildings, and taking care of the plants and flowers inside. You're not a politician? I'm not a politician.
You've never been one, and all of a sudden you want to be one?
All of a sudden I want to be one.
Why?
Yeah. Well, I got into the housing business in 2004 and was in the housing business for 10 years, running kind of like group homes here in the city and in Newcastle County. And the experience was such an emotional storm that I had to take my experience. I really had to run for public office because I had to express myself. You're expressing yourself. That we know. You're expressing yourself, and you really are stirring things up. So let's get right to the Facebook post and the social media post. When you called Tom Carper, Senator Tom Carper, a redneck, you called Lisa Blunt Rochester an Aunt Tom instead of an Uncle Tom, and I may misquote this, so excuse me if I do, but you called Joe Biden a bigot as well. Right. Do you stand by all those comments? I stand by everything I've said. They are extremely provocative comments, and yes. Do you have any proof of any of that? Well, here's the thing. We all are bigoted in a way. We all are hardwired for prejudice. Everybody on earth is. And so, but that's not what you were saying. I mean, you singled out these people and you accused them of something that normally when you make that type of accusation, you'd have to have some facts to back it up. Good question. And my answer is this. The policies they are pursuing, the votes they are making, and their silence is disproportionately hurting black people in Delaware. Give me an example. Well, when you vote against a tax cut, you're taking money out of people's pockets, okay, when you're voting against a tax cut. That's not bigoted, and that hurts everybody. With your argument, that would hurt everybody. That's not necessarily bigoted, is it? Well, it falls disproportionately upon black people, okay, because a rich guy, you know, like a millionaire like Tom Carper and Chris Coons and my opponent, a tax cut doesn't affect them because they got plenty of money. I found it interesting also, you talked about your opponent, Lisa Blunt Rochester, and you just said to me, I stand by all my comments. Yes. I thought you apologized for the Tom comment. No, I don't think I did. I don't think I did. And you know what? I'm just repeating what I hear on the streets. You hear her called an... Absolutely. I hear it more than once. And that she sold out the black people of Wilmington. And look, I like her. I like her. It's not that, okay? I like her as a person, and she's a beautiful person, and her dad is first class. That being said, she's going down the wrong road, okay? And this is why you walk out of the studio and you walk 3 blocks over that way, and what you got is a third world country. That was before she got into office, though. I mean, that's been that way for a long time. But if I'm elected, if I'm elected, because I'm going to be there. I'm going to be on the street like I am now. No, it doesn't. But you give people hope when you show up, and when they see you, and you walk with them and you talk with them, that gives people hope. And that's the start of the Renaissance. You got to have hope. So far, it seems like
Your own party is rejecting your message, as they have disavowed you, and they don't. They even want to study how you won. To tell you the truth, the Democratic Party, of course, have disavowed you, and it sounds like the voters are too. If you look at the most recent poll, you're down almost 40 points.
What poll were you referring to? The last
Delaware University.
Okay, well, I think that it was 30, and then it was 28. It adjusted that, but that doesn't make any difference.
57 to 20 something, right?
Yeah,
so it's,
I was down
almost 40. Is
yeah, I was supposed to lose in the same amount in the primary. I was supposed to lose by the same amount. Some political pundit with a 92% success rate said that I had no chance of beating Lee Murphy, but I beat Lee Murphy, and I beat him very handily. And so that means there's something going on here, okay? And that's the people, and the people are not fooled. And you will see this election as very, very close, or else you'll see me victorious, because I know what I hear. I'm on the streets every day, and I'm listening, and I hear what people say. They're not going to tell a pollster they're going to vote for me. They're not going to say that over the phone. This is the same thing as Donald Trump. People did not want to admit that they supported him, but once they get into the privacy of that voting booth and nobody else is around, they're going to select me.
You mentioned Donald Trump, and I thought about him when I saw some of your comments. Do you see him as a role model?
No.
What do you see him as?
He's a flawed human being like everybody else is. But if he hadn't gotten elected, if Hillary Clinton got elected, I don't know where we would be right now. I mean, you know, we're talking about two different economic theories at loggerheads here. You got socialism on this side, you got free enterprise and capitalism on this side. Now, the one thing, the socialism is not really an economic theory, because all there is consumption. You're just consuming assets. In a market economy and free enterprise, you're producing assets.
Are you getting any campaign contributions?
No.
None? None. Doesn't that tell you something?
Well, I'm not asking for any. Do you know how much money I spent on the primary? $1,000. Do you know how many votes I got? Almost 20,000. Do you know what the price per vote is? 5 cents.
But when you want to be part of running the economy, don't you think that part of your audition is your ability to raise money?
No. The key skill to running an economy is the ability to save money and economize. That's the key skill. It's not raising money. That's not how you run a successful economy. You run a successful
economy raises money.
Well, it raises money through taxation. And when you have tax cuts, what you do is you cause more economic activity, and you cause more revenue to be taxed. And so that's the way to go with tax cuts. Then you end up with more tax revenue.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Scott Walker is the Republican candidate for Congress in Delaware. When we come back, what are the chances of Amazon coming to Delaware? And if not Delaware, what about Philadelphia? We'll talk about it when the Delaware Way continues.